Hello everyone, Manic here, and you may notice that this commentary is not live with the gameplay. Well, I do have a reason for that. I'm combining this week's Manic thoughts with our Mega Man Let's Play. And why do this, you ask? Well, to be honest, the schedule is going to be alternating Manic thoughts and Gmod videos from here on out, and I actually wasn't planning on doing one of these this week. But unfortunately, something I think is pretty terrible happened today, and that's Leonard Nimoy has passed. He was always a big inspiration to me, and I'm like a huge Trekkie. I've read his autobiographies, I've watched him in the shows. I even enjoy watching documentaries that he narrates. So long story short, I'm really gonna miss the guy. So, in honor of him, I'd like to dedicate this video. So, let's start with our 5 ways Star Trek has changed the world, in memory of Leonard Nimoy. So first on our list is a universal translator, and for all the non-Trekkies out there, I will explain these things. So the crew of the Enterprise often used a universal translator to communicate with aliens speaking other languages that weren't English. This seems really cool, and to a lot of people it seems really far-fetched. However, Microsoft has recently announced a new Skype translator, and that allows near real-time audio translation from one language to another using new advances in speech recognition, and machine translation technologies. I promise my talking will get better. This is really freaking awesome. It's still in its early stages, but we are getting there. It's gonna happen because, you know, Bill Gates says it is. But imagine talking to somebody and it instantly translating to a new language. That's just so cool. Next is handheld computers. Starfleet officers, the people on the Enterprise in Star Trek The Next Generation, often used handheld touchscreen network computers called PADs, or personal access display devices. Now I know Mr. Spock was not privy to this Enterprise's adventures, but let's be honest, if not for the original, there would be no Next Generation. Anyway, PADs sound oddly familiar to something we have today, right? It's not a trick question. I'm talking about tablets. Now, this may not seem like, you know, an amazing feat, but remember, Star Trek started with the original series in the 60s, and Next Generation started, I believe, in the 80s. Computers were still infants at this time, and they predicted something that's relatively new. It's leaving the newish stages. You know, it's been a while since, like, Nook and the iPads have come out, but still, crazy that this stuff was an idea back then. Speaking of another interesting idea, and that was the Communicators. This one is a little nitpicky, but when you really think about it, it is unbelievably fascinating. A lot of science fiction shows in space had communicators, but let's think about, how did Kirk say, "Beam me up, Scotty"? That one was a trick question, because he never said that. But he did have his communicator, and his communicator was a little different from everyone else's, because it was a simple little device that he carried in his pocket that flipped open and then allowed him to talk to a ship from pretty much any distance. Now, I definitely don't have a plan that allows me to call spaceships, but the fact that these communicators were out 30 years before cell phones is just fucking awesome. I mean, think about it. Cell phones is so commonplace today, but back then they weren't even invented, and he has this exact same design that was mass-produced as a flip phone cell phone. Yeah. Remember flip phones? No? Okay. Going back to Skype, this is something else people use a lot today and kind of take advantage of. And what if I told you this was another Trekkie prophecy? Take a look at any Star Trek series. Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, doesn't matter. You'll see the concept of video chat in every single ship or space station. And this was back when there was no Wi-Fi. None at all. The internet was still new when the original series came out. Okay? You can't tell me that this show was not only creative, but completely functional with its sci-fi ideas, which is pretty rare because sci-fi comes up with a bunch of bullshit, like, you know, Sharknado. But still, fucking amazing. Lastly, we have in-ear communications. So not only did Star Trek predict future technologies, it also predicted future technologies that would come and go before the entire show, counting all series, ended. That's right, we're talking about Bluetooth. Lieutenant Uhura was very fond of her Bluetooth headset, and boy was she devastated when people realized that these fucking things were terrible to sync, and they were just a huge pain in the ass. But once again, came out in the 60s, guys. They had Bluetooth. So, alright everyone, I hope you did enjoy this video, and once again, I hope maybe you found out something you didn't know. Little tidbit here, ironically enough, Star Trek also has a lot of android and cyborg types of creatures or beings in the shows, and that's what Mega Man is. And that was the inspiration for another video I did. It seems we can't get away from the Star Trek. Like I said, just thank you all for watching. It means a lot to me, and like I said, this one I want, this is put out there in remembrance of Leonard Nimoy and all he did and all the people he's inspired and the people that looked up to him, because I know he's going to be missed. And just thank you all for watching, and remember, live long and prosper.